came from, and you said they came from ourselves.
We were the ones that became, all of humanity that's ever existed, all the souls that have ever kind of come into this reality, we gradually became more and more attached to it. Now, the most separated of us would be what you would call dark forces. They are so separated from God, from the reality of perfect love, from the oneness of love. They are so separated from that they love this matrix, and they want to keep it going because this is their reality. They are so detached from God that they don't even know what that love is. Mm-hmm. And the matrix is all they know. Now, those are what we call dark forces. But all of humanity is kind of in an evolutionary thing. We have some of us are in more darkness, and some of us are in more light. Some of us are very dark, dark, dark. Some of us are medium dark and medium light. And it's an evolutionary thing. So you have all kinds on the planet, all dark, and some are all, very, very light. And most of us are all in between. Mm-hmm. Some of us have some dark side to us, and some of us have some really light side to us.
Mm-hmm. I have this question here, and I can't interpret it, so I can only just read it. It says, do you believe the great red dragon is under the sleep of Mayar? Does that make any sense to you?
I have no idea what that guy's talking about.
Okay. How'd you know it was a guy?
I don't know. I have no idea what that person's talking about.
Okay, I'm just going to ask.
It felt like a guy to me. But
that's a guy question, huh? All right. Okay. So back to dreams then. There are some things that are so ridiculous in dreams, and you kind of went to those that maybe mean something, say that there's a fear. But so is every dream then subject to an interpretation? Are there others? Do you consider yourself a dream interpreter? Because you sort of interpreted 2 dream scenarios I give you already.
Well, there are certain sort of commonalities to people in mass consciousness as far as dreams. There are some commonalities, but every dream and every person is unique because we all have our own belief systems, and we're all seduced by different things. Some people are seduced by their boyfriend, their wife, by work, by power, by money, by sex, by drugs, by alcohol. So they're going into that other realms, the spirit realm. They're going to experience that reality based on their own beliefs, their own seductions, their own addictions. Mm-hmm. So to actually interpret, your dream exactly, sometimes, you can get pretty close because you have an ability to look down, or not say look down, but look at an expansive place with that person and sort of see, well, they're kind of seduced by this or addicted by that, or they're caught up in this fear or they're caught up in that fear. Mm-hmm. So, from a knowledge point of view, you can help somebody with their dreams. Mm-hmm. But dreams are very personal, mm-hmm. and they usually have to do with our fears, our seductions, and our addictions.
Yeah. Okay. So do you believe that purgatory exists?
Purgatory exists because purgatory is simply just the spirit realm. And inside the spirit realm, there are very, very dark places that you might call hell. And then there's everything in between. And then there's very, very light places where very pure, wonderful, spiritual people on earth actually go to. Some of our saints would be in those higher dimensions of light. Mm-hmm. So most everybody is in between.
Mm-hmm. What is the spiritual analysis of exorcism?
I used to tell many of my people that all illness on the world, every illness that you see is a spiritual illness. Because actually we are spiritual beings and we're living in separation. And so once we quit living in separation and we start moving back towards oneness or love, we eventually let go of all these different illnesses. So a lot of mental illness is simply some sort of spiritual illness. And because people don't know about protection and they don't know how to protect themselves, and because they don't really believe the mm-hmm. spiritual worlds are real, and they don't realize that these astral beings are all around us, they're wide open. And so many times we are influenced and even possessed by beings that are living in these other realms.
That sounds remarkably like Scientology.
I don't know about Scientology, but I know the Scientology believes that some guy from some planet came down here and brought a bunch of trapped souls or something and threw them on the earth and then created a barrier and they're all trapped down here or something.
Yeah. Okay, so wait a minute. That sounds like a little ridicule there. Are you saying their belief system isn't right?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, no, that I don't think it's my belief. I don't think it's what I was saying. I think he was saying there was some ET that came You know, which are ETs. I mean, you could say we are planet populated by extraterrestrials.
So
we came from somewhere.
Okay, so there are immortals among us, and we obviously, you said earlier in the first hour that we wouldn't recognize them. What about aliens? Are they among us in human body capsules, or no?
You mean, are there aliens
that are human? They're in human bodies. Yeah, they look like humans, but they're really aliens.
No.
Okay.
No.
So you've been visited by aliens, didn't you say that?
I've had some encounters. I've had some more than I've even written. I've had a couple of them written in the book where they've, various things. But
well, give us the various thing.
Well, I've had an experience once, which I think I mentioned this one in the book, where I was visiting. I had a friend, and we were in a cabin out in Arkansas one time, and one of the gray ships showed up and tried to abduct the guy that was with me. And
tried to abduct him.
So
there's a struggle with an alien?
Excuse me?
So there was a struggle with an alien? He said he tried to abduct him, but did he?
No, because I was awake, and I sort of interfered with that situation. But I've also had encounters with just them coming by the house and flying over, and I've had them show up in my bedroom.
Yeah.
I think I write about this one in the book. I had them show up in my bedroom, Venetians, one time.
Yeah.
Because actually I lived in Colorado for a little while, and before I lived in Aspen and lived in Boulder, I lived in a little place called Mancos for about half a year, and I was up on a hill. And there's a huge underground alien installation of extraterrestrials in the Four Corners area.
So they So
there's a lot of extraterrestrial activity in the Four Corners area.
Okay, so when they came into your bedroom, did they try to abduct you?
No, there was no. They were
coming
to tell me
a sandwich. What they stop by for?
Excuse me?
What did they visit you for?
That particular one, which I mentioned about, they had an underground installation base underneath the hill that I was living on, and they came to tell me that they were turning on specific devices that might interfere with my spiritual traveling and stuff, and so it was like a discussion situation.
Okay, so you sat down with some aliens, had a discussion. They said that what they're
doing.
We
didn't sit down.
Oh, okay. They clawed down. I don't know what they do. What do they do?
They just showed up.
Okay, so how many were there?
It was two Venetians and their android.
Wow! So you had androids.
I was sleeping, and I have a skyline in that cabin I was living in. I have skylight, and I saw this beam of light. It woke me up. It was like a big beam of light that came through the skylight. And when I woke up and was looking at it and I was looking up, then I looked down. All three of them were standing there, sort of at the in the room. And they were getting ready to leave from there to go into the underground installation that's underneath the Four Corners area.
All right.
And really, it's a very interesting story. I write more about it in the book, but the whole hill was vibrating. And even my neighbors the next day were talking about how they felt this vibration going on the hill, and the dogs were barking. What was it? Nobody seemed to know. But
so they brought they brought their pet android then. So
Well, they had some kind of machines they were using, and it was making a vibration on the hill.
Yeah. Well, they can be aggravating. I mean, do they just show up anytime they want, or do they knock or materialize, or what?
I tell you, the most activity I've ever had has been in the Four Corners area. I believe that there are certain extraterrestrial hotspots. I think that they have underground installations, or they have some kind of bases, and I think if you find those areas, you have more contact than you do in other places.
Yeah. Well,
I don't have regular contact, particularly like here, where I am right now. But
Well, Jhershierra, what's the best way to get rid of a pesky alien?